Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really important for staying mobile and healthy long term. Muscle health as we age. We're specifically zeroing in on sarcopenia. That gradual, almost silent loss of muscle mass, strength, and function. It often kicks in around age 60, maybe a bit earlier for some, a bit later for others, and it really impacts daily life. It can threaten independence, and maybe most critically, it significantly bumps up the risk of falls, which can be dangerous. It's a major challenge for aging well. Now, you sent us some interesting sources pointing to one specific mineral that's getting a ton of buzz online, magnesium, or MGM. And some of the claims are, well, they're pretty bold. Like it can revive muscles almost overnight, or even get this, replace protein. So our mission today is clear. Cut through that hype. We need to look hard at the actual evidence. We want to separate the internet chatter from the real science and figure out what magnesium truly does for preventing and managing age-related muscle decline. We're after informed choices, not miracle cures.
Exactly. And that distinction is so important. If we don't tackle the sensational claims first, it just clouds the picture. Sarcopenia is a serious thing. Age is the big factor, obviously, but lifestyle choices, they really accelerate it. We're talking chronic inflammation, not moving enough, and definitely nutritional gaps. And look, protein is non-negotiable. It provides the amino acids, the actual building blocks for muscle tissue, period. But we can't ignore the cofactors. Minerals like magnesium, they're like the essential support crew for the whole muscle machinery, metabolism, communication, everything. Now, about those wild claims, the idea that Mangog is some kind of magic bullet, or that you can just say adios to protein, there's simply no rigorous science backing that up in any of the material we reviewed. It's just not there. These kinds of over-the-top promises, they're actually harmful. They create unrealistic hopes and, honestly, distract from what really works. That's the disinformation challenge right there.
Okay, so if it's not a miracle cure, let's take that sticker off. What is this essential mineral actually doing for our muscles? Because this is where it gets fascinating, right? The biology behind it must be why the hype even started.
Precisely. Let's think about magnesium not just as one part, but maybe like the whole ignition system and the main electrical conductor for the body's energy. M is needed for, I think the number is over 300, enzymatic reactions. But its most vital role, especially for muscles, is helping make ATP. That's adenosine triphosphate, the body's main energy molecule. Every single movement, every muscle twitch needs ATP. And magnesium is key to making it and using it. It keeps the engine running.
Okay, that covers the energy part, but muscles also need to, stop contracting, relax.
Exactly. It's not just about the go, it's about the stop, too. Beyond fuel, EMRA is the control. It plays this really critical role in managing calcium flow inside muscle cells. Calcium is the signal for contraction. Think of it as the accelerator. Magnesium, on the other hand, helps manage that calcium. It ensures the muscle can relax properly after contracting. It's kind of like the brake pedal, keeping things smooth.
Wait a second. So if someone's low in magnesium, could a muscle cramp literally be like a little electrical short? Because that balance between the accelerator, calcium, and the brake, magnesium is off. Is it that direct?
That's actually a great way to put it. Yeah, when EMERG levels are too low, that delicate calcium-magnesium balance gets disrupted. It can lead to muscles being hyperexcitable, and that results in those sudden involuntary contractions we know as cramps, sometimes called calambers. And when this imbalance isn't just a one-off, but it's happening chronically, it really contributes to that overall feeling of weakness and fatigue. Over time, it definitely makes the muscle loss situation worse in older adults.
And we know deficiency is pretty common in people over 60. What are the main reasons? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah, there are a couple of key things happening. First, just the natural aging process changes our gut. We often don't absorb magnesium as efficiently as we used to. Second, and this is really actionable information, some very common medications that older adults take can actually interfere with magnesium. They can deplete the body's stores. We're talking specifically about things like diuretics, which are often used for high blood pressure, and also proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, for acid reflux. Both of those drug classes can significantly lower magnesium levels. So if you're taking them, focusing on magnesium intake, maybe even discussing supplements with your doctor becomes really important.
Okay, it sounds like we've really nailed down magnesium's role as this crucial collaborator. It gives the workers the energy, helps control the process. So let's pivot back to that initial hype. If we accept this synergy, how does the science really definitively shoot down that myth about MBO replacing protein?
It comes down to a simple difference. Structure versus function. It's fascinating because the evidence does show M helps with better muscle function, maybe even speeds up recovery after exercise. But it absolutely fundamentally cannot do the job of protein. Protein provides those essential amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, valine. You need them to actually build and repair muscle tissue. You can't build a wall without bricks, right? Magnesium is like the super efficient power tools and the skilled crew operating them. It makes the whole construction process work better. But the crew can't build bricks out of electricity or tools. So the real benefit, the smart strategy, is collaboration, teamwork.
Right, that collaboration, the synergy that seems to be the real story here. It's not about finding one single superstar nutrient.
Absolutely. The strategy that emerges from all the reliable sources points towards combining MG with other key players, especially nutrients that older adults are often low in. So enough protein intake, absolutely critical. Vitamin D, also crucial, and calcium. This combination doesn't just help muscles, it maximizes benefits for bone health too. And strong bones are just as vital for preventing those dangerous falls. So to put a final nail in the coffin of that myth, MG is a vital support player, an essential complement, but it's not a substitute for the structural components like protein.
Okay, this is great. It connects the dots directly to our daily lives. Moving from the lab to the kitchen and the gym, what are the practical takeaways, the key numbers we need to know? What are the most effective things listeners can actually do?
Right, let's get practical. We do have clear targets. For adults age 60 and over, the general recommended daily intake, or RDI, for magnesium is around 420 milligrams a day for men and about 320 milligrams for women. Just consistently hitting that target through diet is, well, it's the first step and sometimes a challenge in itself.
And where do we find most of that, Emily? You mentioned accessibility is a real issue, especially for people who might be more vulnerable.
Yes, absolutely. The good news is magnesium is found in a lot of really nutritious, generally accessible whole foods. Think dark leafy greens, spinach is a classic. Legumes, beans, lentils, seeds are fantastic. Pumpkin seeds, chia seeds are real powerhouses. Nuts like almonds are great too, and whole grains. So building these into your daily meals is step one. But, and this is important, we have to address that implementation challenge. For some people, especially those on tighter budgets, consistently affording large amounts of, say, nuts or certain whole grains can be a real economic hurdle. So just knowing the sources isn't enough. We need practical, affordable strategies too.
And the sources are very clear. Diet alone, even a perfect one, probably isn't enough to fight off sarcopenia effectively. You have to combine it with activity. How specific do we need to get with the exercise part?
Oh, very specific. The science is quite clear here. The winning combo is that balanced, nutrient-dense diet plus regular physical activity. And that activity needs two main components. First, resistance training. This is non-negotiable for actually stimulating muscle growth and maintaining strength. Aim for at least 2, preferably 3 sessions a week. Hit all the major muscle groups, things like squats, rows, maybe some push-ups or chest presses. Second, aerobic activity, walking, cycling, swimming. That's crucial for endurance, heart health, and overall functional capacity. It's the consistent combination of stimulating the muscles through exercise and giving them the right nutrients, including magnesium, that really makes a difference.
Okay, what about supplements then? If someone knows they're taking those diuretics you mentioned, or maybe their diet just isn't hitting those MGRAG targets, should they just grab some magnesium pills?
Ah, yes, supplements. This needs a bit of nuance. Magnesium supplements, forms like citrate or glycinate, tend to be absorbed pretty well. They can be really helpful. But, and this is a big but, they should generally be reserved for cases where there's a medically confirmed deficiency or if dietary intake is consistently demonstrably low despite best efforts. They aren't really meant as a first-line prevention strategy for everyone, and you have to be careful with the dose. Taking too much magnesium supplement can cause digestive issues, mainly diarrhea, which ironically can then interfere with absorbing other nutrients. So personalization is key. Talking to a doctor or a registered dietitian before starting any supplement regimen is really the way to go.
You mentioned medically confirmed deficiency. That brings up a really tricky point highlighted in the sources. How does a doctor actually know if someone is truly deficient? It sounds complicated.
It is. It's probably the biggest diagnostic hurdle we face with magnesium. Detecting a true deficiency, meaning low levels where it counts in the tissues, is tough. Standard blood tests, the ones that measure magnesium in your blood plasma, they often don't tell the whole story. You see, the body is incredibly smart, maybe too smart for easy testing here. It works really hard to keep plasma magnesium levels stable because it's so critical for heart function and nerve function. So if your dietary intake drops, the body will actually pull magnesium out of your muscles and bones to keep those plasma levels looking normal.
Wow. Okay, so your blood test could come back looking perfectly fine, totally normal range.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, your actual reserves, the magnesium inside your muscles needed for energy and function, could be seriously depleted.
Exactly that. You could be running on empty at the tissue level, but the standard lab report gives this false sense of security. And to make it even harder, the symptoms of a mild or moderate deficiency are often really vague. Things like general fatigue, maybe some mild weakness, symptoms that are so easily just chalked up to getting older.
Let's circle back quickly to adherence, because this sounds complex. We have dietary targets, specific exercise types, potential drug interactions, this tricky diagnosis issue. Realistically, how easy is it for someone, say, over 75, maybe juggling a few other health issues, to actually stick to all of this consistently?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The real-world challenge. Adherence is difficult. We see these hurdles all the time. The cost of some foods, finding the time and energy for regular resistance training, trying to balance dietary preferences with multiple medication schedules. It's a lot. It really requires ongoing education, good support from healthcare providers, and focusing on small, achievable steps rather than trying to overhaul everything at once. Tailoring the advice is crucial. And finally, we have to be honest about the research landscape too. While the basic science on magnesium's role in ATP, calcium regulation, that's rock solid. The specific research confirming its long-term power to significantly reverse advanced sarcopenia, that's still developing. We definitely need more large-scale, long-term human trials to really fine-tune these recommendations and understand the full impact.
That clarity is really helpful. So let's sum up what we've unpacked today. Magnesium is clearly a fundamental support nutrient. It's absolutely essential for energy production, for muscles contracting and relaxing properly, and just for overall muscle function, especially as we get older. And we definitely confirmed today it is not a magic bullet. It doesn't replace the need for adequate protein. It doesn't replace the need for consistent exercise, both resistance and aerobic. The best defense against sarcopenia seems to be this informed, holistic approach. Magnesium is a key player on a winning team, working together with protein, vitamin D, and calcium. Okay, and to leave you with something to think about, here's a final thought for you to mull over. Given how tricky it is to accurately diagnose magnesium deficiency just using standard blood tests, think about this. How might future advances, maybe in personalized medicine or perhaps even wearable tech that continuous monitoring, eventually help us track our actual tissue mineral levels? Imagine moving beyond guesswork and simple diet tracking to truly ensuring optimal levels where it matters most. That could absolutely revolutionize how we prevent conditions like sarcopenia, catching issues long before symptoms even start. That's definitely a space to watch.